Hello everyone, this is Ashlyn, back at it again with another 5 video. I had a couple people in my DMs requesting for some gameplay, so I'm bringing it to you now, just in time for the Pro Quest season. I've made a couple changes to the list, so I'm going to go right into them right now. First off, we replaced the 3 Lava Vein Loyalty plus 3 Hot on Their Heels combo with 2 Hot on Their Heels, 2 Burning Blade Dance, and 2 Blood Drop. These two are for rare circumstances to avoid getting your Lava Vein loyalties banished by Bonds of Agony. And Blood Drop is a recent development where it just adds another Draconic starter in the case that you brick. So all of your one costs in this deck are Draconic starters. So you won't get into a situation with this card where you have this for a Draconic starter plus another one cost causes you to brick. In addition, Trigger Shuka, always nice, and very easy to proc off Spreading Flames. Blocks 3. It's kind of this emergency Draconic starter if you really need it, but most of the time it gets 2 to 3 value, which the added consistency is really important just to make sure that you can pressure people consistently. I've decided to go with Dando and what he's been doing recently and take out 2 Compounding Angers for 1 Brand and 1 Tenacity. I don't know how well this will perform. I still got to test it a lot, and so that's what we're going to do in today's video. But I think the mainboard tenacity is a great idea just because off of Mask of the Pouncing Lynx, you just have more options. So if someone's blocking a lot, you can pull the tenacity in aggressive matchups. Sometimes they'll block, and defensive matchups, sometimes they won't block. So having both at your disposal at most given times, just very valuable. And then the brand is just a nice, solid Draconic starter. Pitches 3, so can swing for an Ember Blade. Not too much to say there. We kept the same blue count and what's going on with the blues. I was debating going back to Rowdy Locals, which is what I had for my early Road to Nationals tournaments. But really, having the 3 prowess agility is just so nice, and it increases your percentage chance of actually drawing one on turn 0 if you end up going first. I'm being fully serious. This card has won me games when I'm feeling bad because I have to go first. I feel suddenly great because I have this in my hand. So I can do 0 for 3 Ignite, Phoenix Flame Prowess, and then Arsenal card, or I can do 0 for 3 Pitch a Blue to Ember Blade, Phoenix Flame. This card is just amazing, so I want to keep it at 3. Some of the sideboard changes. We added the Energy Potion just for the Jarl matchup. I didn't really see a point to adding the extra tenacity, but now we got it in the main board, so it all makes up for it. I took out the 1 shelter just because I feel like the 1 extra D-React wasn't really doing too much. I also sold my shelter to buy other cards, and that's why we have Sync in the sideboard. I think you should play Shelter if you have it, because oftentimes the Sync is not really the most useful effect, but it's just way cheaper than Shelter, so that's what I'm running. I kept Flame Call, Phoenix Flame. All of this is kind of the same. I just moved this to the sideboard as the offensive package. And then Battlefront Bastion is just a replacement. It could be CNC here, but I find oftentimes I really only want to run CNC into Azalea and Riptide, and that's not a big enough meta share for me to really be too scared. Battlefront Bastion is just really good at popping Prism, and it makes that matchup go from like not that great to like very playable. So I think it's worth the 2 sideboard slots, especially since this rest of the sideboard kind of covers every single character we really want to run into in the game. But that's it for all of the updates. I've also updated with pretty much a matchup for every hero in the game. So if you want to play this list and you don't really know how to sideboard, you could just go to this handy dandy. So let's say we want to go Aurora, right here. Then you just sub in the Fire Tenant Strike first and the Rake over the Coals. And there are some random matchups like Katsu or Zuri that it doesn't cover, but if you look at some of the other stuff, you can kind of glean generally what you're supposed to run into those matchups anyways. But that's all for me. I'm going to go over and play some couple games on Talishar, and we'll see how it goes. Looks like we got Ira, so we're just going to click on the Ira sideboard guide. Little known fact, I have a friend, Connor Babcock. He plays second at Battlehorn Charlotte, so I'm very familiar with this matchup, and I've played it a lot. So we'll see if that can translate into an actual win for me. All right, so we're going first here. We draw actually a pretty nice hand. There is an argument that we just dump the full hand and we either leak damage or we do some more stuff. We could also just Arsenal pass and try to go on the offensive. Either way, we're either leaking damage or clearing out her entire hand, or not letting her filter at all and keeping a quite good hand. I think for me, I'm trying to fully assess. I think the 13 is going to be great. I'm going to leak damage for sure. And then also, we're kind of getting hit with. Okay, I think the best idea here is probably just to try to leak the damage. So I'm going to start with the Rising Resentment. And we can always bail and keep this if we see anything that tells us otherwise. I'm going to be very detailed when it comes to, why I'm making my decisions, because I was going to a local event, a Team Classic Constructed event, and one of my, I know him decently well, friends, he was playing Fi on my list, and he didn't know like some kind of crucial Fi interactions that can really make the difference in your games. So I was like, I need to make a very detailed Fi gameplay video so that people can easily jump into this list and kind of know the general idea of what they're supposed to do. All right, so he takes the 1. I think I'm just going to push the damage here and then be able to arsenal this brand. And he's going to have to give me both cards or leak damage. If he keeps both cards, which might happen, probably a D-react in hand if he's playing a mid-range list. Okay, no, we got damage leaked. Also, Ancestral Empowerment and Soul Beat Strike signals me very weird things. Also, going Snapdragons is quite strange. Probably a more offensive Ira list would be my guess, and we draw a pretty heater hand. With the blue head jab, this kind of communicates that they're kind of trying to go long chain links wide and not really focus on disruption, and if that's the case, we kind of just blow them out of the water. So I'm not going to block this. I'm going to take the 1. There's an argument to just block with something like the Dragon Scalar Flight Path, but, not really. Okay, that makes sense why they took the extra damage then. Scarf for 5. I'm not really concerned. Does put the Mask Momentum to 3rd on the next chain link. There is an argument to block and prevent the mask trigger, but I think we don't really care. Because my philosophy around Mask Momentum, and this applies to Syndra and this applies to Ira, is that Mask of the Pouncing Links versus Mask Momentum, if you can only get them to trigger a mask once or twice throughout the game, you're getting equal value with Mask of the Pouncing Links. Plus, you're probably pushing more damage because these lists are less consistent offensively. So, generally speaking, I'm very comfortable with just letting them draw off mask, especially since their builds can oftentimes center around blues. This is especially true for Aya. If they run like half blues, Mask Momentum usually gives like 1.5 value on the draw. So don't be concerned. Like, it's totally fine to just say, I'm just going to take it because there's no reason not to. I think it's very clear here that on any hit, we mask the pouncing links and we just go ham. Okay, sink below. They are filtering. All right, here we go. Is there any way we can like sequence this specifically? No. Oh, let's just go Spreading Flames. We're going to very clearly indicate that this is our pop-off turn. They're not going to commit the blocks. We're just going to grab Lava Burst. This is a pure numbers game. If you see the ability to get 7 value on Lava Burst, I would say that's a very clear take range, especially if your opponent is committing blocks on the chain links. Because the only time that you can get maybe more value than 7 is if you have Salt to Wound against an aggressive mirror. But in this case, they're blocking with 2 sinks. They got some cards. Very interesting Ira build, to say the least. I don't know how good it is, but this hero is kind of wide open because she is kind of just play a bunch of generics the deck. All right, so take 2. Now coming for 7. We're threatening to get them down to 17. So we're at a 12 life lead and they only have 2 cards in hand. I think we're in a very comfortable position. All right. So now when you get these 2 card hands, uh, they might do Kadachi Kadachi 1 for 5. And the best way to play around that is to either block with 1 on the first chain link. I'm going to say thinking, please bear with me to elaborate. Or block with Flame Skull on the second and just wait for that. Because they might also do a 2 for 6, like Erase Face or Command and Conquer. Our hand is good. You can push offensive pressure. I can play Prowess out if I really feel like it to have offensive overlap. I don't think I'm worried about the mass trigger. I think I'm more worried about disruption in the form of Erase Face. So I'm going to let this resolve. Yep. I think we made the right call. Now, to keep it simple, Ira kind of generally wants to block 2 swing 2, kind of like a Guardian. So just arsenaling passing and not really putting that much damage up for presenting is usually a good idea. The problem is if I block with my equipment, I only get 4 blocks. So I think I'm going to block 1 here. And then I think we do these 2, and we keep it simple like this. And I think the argument is, let's go Fire Tenant, see what they do. If they declare no blocks, then it's pretty clearly an indication they want to keep the full hand. Okay? So if that's the case, then I want to swing with Rising Resentment. Okay? Because if they want to swing with a full hand, that usually means some form of disruption or some kind of big thing that I'm going to be on the defense for regardless. We draw a pretty not great hand here, all things considered. We have the Ignite, we have a blue, which is great for double Emberblade swing, but we don't really have a good thing to pair it with. Poison Blade is fucking interesting. Oh my god. So Biting Breeze, create a Crouching Tiger. This could signal dual threat, but I highly doubt it. Especially if they're not running the Tiger Boots. I think this is not dual threat. So I'm just going to say no blocks here. I'm going to let them create the Crouching Tiger. Might be a mistake, because they're probably going to swing with it on maybe the second chain link. Crouching Tiger here. I think we got a couple options, right? We can either block with Flamescale to deny the mask value on the third chain link. They've already shown they have Ancestral Empowerment, which makes it scary. Or they could be doing some kind of disruptive turn, in which case we can just block 2, swing 2. We don't want the game to go too far, though. This is not really a hand I can really do too much with that, regardless. I think we're totally fine blocking for 6 here or even 8. So I'm cool with blocking this next chain link. Scar for Scar. Okay. I think... Oh, that kind of sucks as a weird breakpoint. I mean, we're going to lose value off Flame Scale, obviously, but we also cover for Ancestral Empowerment this way. I think pretty clearly it's a block with Prowess, block with Fame Scale, just to deny mask value. And then if they throw a disruptive piece, we just block with Dragon Power and Lava Vein, and then we Arsenal Ignite. We don't have fealties, so we're not worried about too much. Poisoned Blade. Okay, so 1 and then take 2 and 2. Okay. Yep. I think we're fine with this. 2 Kodachis. So we closed the chain for some reason, which doesn't really make sense. I think it's pretty obvious we just cash in this for 2 block. I would assume they're going to try to run it back because, you know, they have no real reason to close the chain. But I guess they accept it. And then we'll just take 2 on the second Kodachi. Okay. Now we could do one of 2 things. We could either swing... I think pressuring for lethal here is a good call. Despite the fact that, you know, we don't really have a too spectacular of a hand, but that's pretty fine. We have the life lead to do whatever we kind of want to do. All right. And we can't play Dragon Power because we have no way to make it Draconic. All right. Now, importantly, to preserve the damage, we're going to go with Lava Vein Loyalty right here for 2. And I'm going to milk this for all it's worth because I would assume that they don't expect the double swing of the Ember Blade. So what we're going to do is we're going to pass the damage step. We're going to activate Dragon Scaler targeting Searing Ember Blade. And this effectively threatens them to go to 1. So the Spider Hand not being too great, getting them down to 1 HP is great. I think the life lead's too much. I think this is pretty much a clear-cut win for us. Especially with a hand like this. I think it's pretty clear that we just don't block. I don't think there's any way we die here, and then we just win. Not really too concerned. Kadashi's going to come in for 3 here, which, you know, partly sucks. And they just concede, so we'll say good game, and we'll move on. All right, we got a Vynnset. This matchup is tough in a lot of respects. Let me see what I have for this. I have Tunic and Tide Flippers, which I think is the right call. In this matchup, they got Cole, they have Face Purgatory. So it's pretty clearly a matchup where you want to play Flame Call. So you can grab a Phoenix Flame and banish it to something like Cole as a response. And they have a lot of ways to banish your cards from hand, potentially. So I would say you run Flame Call. And you also run your D-Reacts. Because the way you want to play against this hero is pretty clear. Alright, now this hand is weird. But the way you play against this hero is you just block out efficiently until she has to do a setup turn, and then you kill her. Trying to like just dump your hand every turn is really bad because she just blocks for 9 and then 1 card 10. Hello. Good luck, have fun. Alright. I think we Ember Blade here. And don't really give her a chance. We give her a chance to filter her hand, obviously. But I want to clear out the 1 blue. And I'm going to make a decision to Arsenal Ronin. In most matchups, you want to Arsenal maybe something like spreading. Like, there's an argument for that. But in the case of what we got going on, I don't really want to Arsenal spreading because there are ways to disrupt my Arsenal. All right, so we got 1 range hit coming at me. I think it's a... We're going to A-B this with... Are we going to A-B this? It's a great question. I could see an argument for not A-Bing this. Sorry. I should not be A-Bing this. Yeah. I'm going to take the 1 rune champ. They're going to send 4 at me. No go again. Pretty bad turn cycle. Succumb! No! Oh my god. I should have known it was Succumb. Alright, what do they take? They don't really got a good option here, though, which is great. They can take a blue, which, you know, could be bad, but then I just Arsenal the other one. Yeah, no, we're fine. I'm totally fine with that exchange. You know, they don't get a lot of value there. We can play out of hands. I like this, actually. Flail of Agony. Now, do we let her create the run rune chant? And I think the answer is yes. We'll say that prowess is a win con potential in this match. So not having it is not amazing. I think we let this happen because she didn't come at me with anything too great. I feel like we still got to play, and we didn't really have a good blocking hand, so I think this is totally fine. I think we go Mounting Anger here, and we Arsenal the Spreading Flames. I should have Ronin Renegade first, but they do know I have the Mounting Anger, so they probably would have played around it regardless. Always save your Mounting Angers for the longest you can with them, if you can afford that. Purgatory! Okay. Purgatory is an interesting choice here. No value from Spreading Flames, which is a little sad. I do lose a power card. But getting that tool out pretty early, I'm not actually that mad about, because now I don't have to play around it anymore, which is really nice. Activate Phi, cash in for the 1 value here, and then we just end our turn. All right, Tina's going to go on 3 on our next turn. All right, this is not a good blocking hand either, but they have to pop Vexing for this Deathly Whale. Malefic. Deathly Whale coming at us. Okay, let's see what they present. Next gets +3. Okay, it's going to come in for 9. Is this hand dumpable? It's not really a good dumpable hand. But I think we should dump regardless, maybe. We got a blue. You know, it's kind of inefficient. It's really not the kind of hand that I really want to be doing this to. Okay, it's unpreventable. They made it unpreventable probably for a reason. If they made it unpreventable, that communicates to me that they have a Succumb in arsenal. And they want to make sure this happens. So, instead of that, I think I'm going to play around the Succumb. And I'm going to dump my hand. Which may be a misplay, but denying her value is always great. I've lost life, so she's going to create Rune Chance, but I'm just going to full block this out. I mean, she does get to keep a Succumb in arsenal if it's there, so maybe not the best decision. We do give up full momentum, but let's see what they can do with this full hand. 3 Rune Chance on a Dream. Okay, Widespread Annihilation. That's not fun. You choose lost life this turn, but you should card from your hand. So, okay. You know what? That's a lot of Rune Chance off the back. I'm gonna pitch. Actually, wait. Sorry. Does this restart the entire thing if I undo? Okay, that's fair. I'll Tunic. Okay. Funeral Immune, interesting. Wait, what? Oh, shit. That's crazy. Well, now we know. Nothing I can do besides dump my hand, I guess. Move on with my life. And eventually, she will run out of Rune Chain generation. See? Okay, wait, no, she did that at the end of her turn. 2 Widespread. Okay. This hand's not bad at doing what I gotta do with it. Okay. Yep. 1. 1. 1. Block. It has overpower. So we're gonna block here. Take the 4. Flail. I'm gonna block the flail, actually. I think swinging, like, whatever some value isn't really that great for me. Okay, they are able to gain the action point. Cool. Or no, they're not able to gain the action point. They can play it as an instant, but it doesn't have to go. Wait. Yeah. Doesn't say go again on it, though, which is important. All right, we got our first D-React. Thank God. All right, Malefic. That's gonna suck because we can't really stop the rune chance from rolling if they keep going for these Malefics. I think we AB here. Yeah, AB again. I think there's an argument that we just block out once again. I'm gonna do this. See what they do. Are we gonna spellbound? It's really up to them. Um, 2-card 8 sounds like a good idea, but I'm gonna loyalty here just to block up more damage. These Vynnset matches are long. You're playing for the long game. And so you have to bunker down. Resolution. They're just going to end their turn. Take blood debt. I'm pretty fine with just sending this blaze for 4. I don't think they can de-react it maybe, but I'm not really too concerned. Yeah. They might just take to try to push offensive. Yeah. See, this is a problem. If I didn't swing with that, then it's a further brick, but they cover this cleanly. Should have probably known that that didn't really do anything to advance my game plan. All right, we got a blue, and then we get a sink below. We have two blocks. Not the greatest block in hand, but as you can see, we're keeping life parity right now. And with blinks is a part of the equation, they're practically already 19, we're at 25. So I'm really cool with this. So they banish Succumb. Either they might have a second Succumb. All right, so we're going to do what we've always been doing. And if they don't make it unpreventable, we're just going to pitch. Boom. 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 Pass. De-react. We're going to choose not to sink in this case. Because I think they're going to let us get this 3-card hand play. Which, you know, doesn't really advance the game state. But, you know, it does get us a bit of value on the fact that, like, they're probably not going to block all this out. All right. Makes 2 damage the first time you prevent damage this week. So they're going to create a rune chant. See what they do. All right. I'm just going to swing out. I think I'm fine with swinging out here. I'm not too scared to do this. I think we want to make sure we get our loyalty beyond the grave trigger. Shelter. Yeah. Do we even want to swing with the last one? I mean, we're already preventing an effect. I guess if they keep blocking, they can't do too much. I mean, I think we're going to leak damage regardless, is my assumption. Yeah. Yep, activate Phi. Save for 1. We're going to leak some damage. I mean, that's cool. Yes, I want to end my turn. We're going to play for loyalty beyond the grave. Okay. Pretty good. And turn. Interesting. All right. So this is their setup turn. Now, that's a little sad for us, you know, for some obvious reasons. Don't really have the best hand for doing what we want to do. There's an argument for spreading flames here. We spreading flames, we Ronin. Then we go for just a clean, efficient card play. I think we arsenal the de-react. I think that's pretty clearly what we should do here. Haunting Rendition. Sad. Lynx. I'm going to pop it. Now, if they call me, I will crash out. I'm playing it around Cole right now. If they do call me, if they called me there after I popped Lynx in response, I was going to crash out. They're thinking of blocking a Tunic, which is very surprising. Creepers. Okay. Creepers is interesting. Is it going to be a coal? What are they? I don't know what the plan is here. Okay, Rune Blood Incantation. They have not dealt arcane damage to me, so the creepers are going to go bye-bye. This is... Creepers going bye-bye. Yep, and now they're down to 4 HP. And we arsenal this. Oh, your end phase. Okay. So they got to deal arcane damage to keep the creepers around. Okay. They pass to the end of their turn. Fine by me. I'm just saying it's fine by me. I'll just throw some damage at them. I think they are trying to maybe set up for a big turn, but I don't know if they actually can. No, I think I do this first. Because if they call me, I'm still fine here. But if I pitch and do this, they call me, I lose 2 value. If I do it here, then I don't lose too much. But, you know. Still. Don't have the potential to double swing because we took the Tide Flippers for the defensive value of just, blocking it out. All right. Now, with these 2 cards, we're going to play around Cole. All right, they're thinking about it. Either that or Talishar is bugging a little bit. Let me try reloading. Okay, yeah. Oh, wait. Fuck. Well, whatever. In the midst of checking to make sure my capture was recording, I lost 1 point of value. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me. Ooh. Okay. We got some rune shits coming at us. Actually, exactly 6. So we're gonna A-B all of those. And then just double D-react. I see the error in my ways. What? What just happened? I didn't... Dude. I don't know if you guys saw the way that played out, but I am going to have to banish a card from my hand now, which sucks. But whatever. We'll banish Prowess and Arsenal. I mean, this is... I mean, I guess I lose... I lose 2 value effectively there, but that's pretty annoying that I'm not allowed to run that back. Okay. Yeah, if I don't get this hand disrupted, this should be a dead Vynnset. And they got access to a 5-card hand. I mean, they do have an ally here, but... Funeral Moon. Nazareth. No blocks from my end. Okay. Cool. Tunic. Create an Eloquence. Funeral Moon. Deathly Will. Oh, there's such an argument for pitching here and just blocking out, but I don't have a good blocking hand. And they made this unpreventable, so I think there's no choice but to take the 6 and try to kill her. But I don't think we're going to be able to kill her. We'll see, though. Okay. I think we want to kill Nazareth, maybe. I'm going to target Vynnset. We can always change our plan if need be. But it's probably going to be a shit ton of blocks. Yep. Blocking with a Cole is an interesting decision. Vynnset, we're going to target her. Again. Grabbing a Phoenix Flame. Yep. Yep. Targeting Vynnset again. I think we have enough to kill. Cool. More cards added to the combat chain. Yep. It's pretty clearly a dead player. Now, if they have Cole, I'll crash out, but I don't think they do. And then we finish it off with a tenacity. Yep. Good game. And that's how you play against Vynnset. It's a tricky matchup, but just feel free to just dump your hand, let her die to blood debt, and then when she has a kind of a low point in her ability to pressure you, just, go on the offensive. She can't really play full card hands very efficiently without using Spellbound Creepers. Post-editing Ashlyn here. Ooh, it's late where I'm at right now. I forgot to record an outro, which I probably should have remembered to do, but that's fine. So from the testing that I did a couple days ago when I recorded this, from what I've been seeing, Blood Drop in the games that I played didn't really do anything too crazy, but Blood Drop has proven to me multiple occasions that it's the right pick. This one at Tenacity I'm still not completely sold on, but it feels effective in certain games. And overall, I think the list is performing well, and it's definitely the Blood Drop and the one of Tenacity are kind of sharpening the edges a little bit. We're going to figure out the rest probably a bit later, but thank you so much for watching the video. If you like this type of content, please subscribe, like the video, and tell me in the comments. Ask me literally anything for me to do content on. People asked for the flight path stuff, and I delivered, so I'm going to try to make uploads a little more frequent on this channel. But I'll see you later. Bye-bye.